Let's talk about adoption. What adoption is, who can adopt, and who can be adopted under the Nigerian law. If it is a topic you would like to listen to, please don't go away. Welcome back to my channel. This is Law Talks and Gist. If you're seeing my face for the first time, you're welcome. Please like, share, comment, click on the subscribe button, and kindly turn on the notification bell so as to be notified each time there is an upload coming from me. And if you're a returning subscriber, you know I love you. Thank you for always tuning in. Now let's dive into the video. What is adoption? Adoption is a process of creating a parent-child relationship between the adopted child and the adoptive parents. If you've seen a video I made previously where I talked about the trending video of Obi Kubana's adopted son, you would remember that I talked about the privileges, the rights, where I say that adoption is not something that someone who is not matured in mind should venture into. If you know that you are not matured, if you know that you are not ready for it, don't go there, because it is not something that you go and adopt a child and then tomorrow you begin to say, oh, this child is not entitled to this child is not entitled to that. Because the moment you adopt a child legally, once the process is sealed, that child automatically is entitled to everything that your natural child, your biological child, would have been entitled to. So you cannot say this child is not privileged to enjoy this child is not entitled to this. No, that cannot happen. So when we are talking about parent-child relationship, we are talking about the privileges, the rights that child should enjoy by virtue of being your child. You cannot deny that. You cannot deny such a child such privileges. I believe we understand. Now, who can adopt? Under our law, under the Nigerian law, a couple can adopt. That is, a husband and a wife can jointly adopt, and one of the spouse can also adopt. But if one spouse should adopt, that spouse should seek the consent of the other spouse. Let me explain. If a wife wants to adopt, she must seek the consent of the husband. And if the husband wants to adopt, he must seek the consent of the wife. So that's the first category of persons that can adopt. On the second category, a single individual can adopt. That is, a single male can adopt, and a single female can also adopt. But there are two things to note. If a single person wants to adopt, such a single person must attain the age of 35, cannot be less than 35 years of age. And please also note that a single individual cannot adopt an opposite gender. For example, if a sole male wants to adopt, you have to adopt a male child. You have to adopt a male person. You cannot adopt a female. And if a single female wants to adopt, such a female must adopt a female. You cannot adopt the opposite gender. You know how the world of today is. This provision is to guide against some form of sexual harassment. Yes, our law is not ignorant of that. It puts it into consideration because they don't want to put the life of the adopted person at risk. So please take note of that also. Then let's talk about who can be adopted. Who can be adopted? Under the Child's Right Act, only persons under the age of 18 can be adopted, not above 18. So every state in Nigeria has adopted this particular provision into their law. Then it is persons under the age of 18 whose parent or guardian has consented to such an adoption that can be adopted. And then the other person that can be adopted are persons under the age of 18 who are either abandoned, neglected, ill-treated, or abused. And then there is a compelling reason for such a person to be adopted. Remember the first we said persons under the age of 18 whose parent has consented. So it simply means that on the former, fine, the child still has a parent or a guardian, but the parent or the guardian has consented. It's not as if the child does not have a parent or does not have a guardian. He or she has, but the parent has consented to such an adoption. And then on the letter, the child maybe does not have a parent or has been abandoned, ill-treated, abused, and then there is need to adopt such a person. So those are the kind of persons to be adopted under our law. I'll still make another video. Adoption is a very wide topic. We still have other things to talk about, but I hope this one helps you. Thank you so much for watching. See you in our next video.